Welcome to Friday Friends with Pastor Kimber. Today we're reading a story about Elisha. The man, whose name was Naaman, was a mighty warrior and he was in favor with his king. But he suffered from leprosy. Now the Arameans on one of their raids had taken a young girl captive from the land of Israel, and she served Naaman's wife. She said to her mistress, "If only my lord were with the prophet who is in Samaria, he would cure him of his leprosy." So Naaman went in and told his lord just what the girl had said about the land of Israel. And the king of Aram said, "Go then, and I will send along a letter to the king of Israel." So Naaman went, along with 10 talents of silver, 6,000 shekels of gold, and 10 sets of garments. He brought the letter to the king of Israel, which read, "When this letter reaches you, know that I have sent to you my servant Naaman, that you may cure him of his leprosy." When the king of Israel read the letter, he started to sweat. He tore his clothes and said, "Am I God to give life and death to this man that sends word to me to cure a man of leprosy? Just look and see, he's trying to pick a quarrel with me and start a war." But when Elisha, the man of God, heard that the king of Israel had torn his clothes, he sent a message to the king. "Why have you torn your clothes? Let him come to me, that he may learn that there is a prophet in Israel." So Naaman came with his horses and his chariots and halted at the entrance of Elisha's house. Elisha didn't go out to see him. Elisha sent a messenger to Naaman saying, "Go, wash in the Jordan 7 times. Oh, my Bible's wet. 7 times. But Naaman became angry, and he went away saying, "I thought that for me Elisha would come out surely and wave his hands over me, over my leprous spots, and that he would call on God really loud and my leprosy would be cured." Are not Abana and Pharpar, the rivers of Damascus, better than all the waters of Israel? Could they not just be as good and make me clean as the waters of Israel? Could I wash in them and be clean? He turned and he went away in a huff and a puff in a great rage. But his servants approached him and said, "Naaman, if the prophet had commanded you to do something difficult, would you not have done it? How much more, then, when all he said to do was wash and be clean?" So he went down and he immersed himself 7 times in the Jordan. 5, 6, 7. And after he had washed 7 times in the Jordan, just like Elisha said, who was the man of God, Naaman's flesh was restored like the flesh of a young boy, and he was clean. Then Naaman returned to the man of God, he and all of his company. He came and stood before him and said, "Now I know that there is no God in Israel but God." And that's the end of our story.